late May 1863, and unfortunately we weren't able to catch him up here in the Shenandoah. It looks like he pulled back, so I'm not sure why he had those troops move forward. The only thing I can think of is that perhaps he thought he was going to be able to capture Jeb Stuart or somebody up in this area, and then when I moved him, either not through but back, he wasn't able to capture him. Late May 1863, and as you can see, unfortunately we did not have a major battle over here in the Shenandoah like I had hoped. I shifted all my corps in the anticipation of having a battle over here. It looks like what he did was he pulled back either to Rockingham, which is Newmarket, or back across the river where McClellan is at. I'm not quite sure why he moved those guys forward. I kind of expected him to be holding still here. He does have a corps up here. I'm not sure what he's doing with him. Perhaps trying to trap Jeb Stuart, or he anticipated me moving up into the Shenandoah in his rear. But alas, there was no battle, so we're going to have to pull back. I got to shift all my corps back into their original positions and reassess the situation and see what to do there. So that's what's going on here. I do have Jeb Stuart holding down the rail line here. I'm going to probably tear that apart. Really just kind of holding here to ensure that Jackson can get back down to behind the lines here. There's a series of battles, a lot of them just kind of minor battles. What I'll do is I'll kind of give you a disposition of where everything is at first, and then we'll go over the battles. So up here, kind of up the gut in Ohio, in kind of eastern Indiana. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to rip up the rail lines, get my partisans in position so that I can put raids on his depots. Well, I was hoping that showed me depots, but he's got a depot here. He's got one there. He moved a division in here. I'm not sure if he moved it to intercept my Indians or if he was just passing through, but unfortunately, kind of good timing for him because his division's here. We were unable to capture this location. So we're just going to pull back because what's really important to me is holding this depot down here because that's what's kind of feeding my troops moving forward. But as you can see, I just have a lot of partisans kind of moving about, tearing up the rail lines. I'm going to try and bring more reinforcements up the gut here. And so I've got a sharpshooter, I've got artillery, more partisans, and so forth. I'm just trying to get military control here, and just so you can kind of see where we're at on the map. Kind of smack dab in the middle. So over here is Kentucky, Bowling Green, Nashville. We're right up in here. And then over here is Western Virginia and Virginia. So we're right at the south of Ohio right here. But again, I'm just trying to tear up the rail lines, destroy depots, make it hard for him to go west to east, because I think what I'm going to do here in the next few turns is make a move on D.C., because now that he's fully committed here in Kentucky with this very large army of troops, I mean, that's like, what, 12,000, 13,000, something insane. If I can effectively tear up these rail lines, then perhaps I can get myself in a position to take D.C. before he can rail troops back. At least that's the plan. It's a little bit difficult for me down here to kind of get in his rear because he does have a full division holding down this rail line and depot. He's got another division back here doing the same thing, which, you know what, even though I'm not able to get in here and take out this depot, the fact that I'm back here and is forcing him to have effectively two divisions in his rear is two less divisions in the front. So, I mean, that's the advantage of doing this. I was trying to get troops all along here to cut off his supply. It looks like I was able to kind of temporarily do that, because I've got troops here and I've got troops here, and I have Shelby, or rather Morgan, here, but we're sharing military control, so he's going to be able to get some through here. And And so I'm just going to pull out of there because he's got more troops here than I do. Plus he's got this division down up here that he could bring down if he wanted. I'm tearing up the rail line here, though, and just kind of trying to harass his rear as much as possible. I've got this force here kind of holding behind Nashville for now. As you can see, I tried a different approach in this game than what I'm used to, which is this kind of static defense, and it's just not working out that well. So for those of you who are watching it, as a Confederacy, you really can't sit back and play defense and turtle, because you run into this situation where the Union has a ass ton of troops in only middle of 63, and I just simply can't put up the same numbers that he's doing. As you can see here, it's late May 63, and all I could do is build a couple of brigades here, and then a couple of reinforcements and nothing else. Whereas he's probably got like half this full, and is doing pretty well on the reinforcement chits as well. So over here I still have 4 divisions, which I'm debating doing something with as well. Depending on what happens over here, I may send them over in his rear and take Bowling Green if he pushes down too much into Tennessee. So let's see what we're going to do there. Holding Memphis with half a division. I prefer a full division, but I have to keep peeling troops off to deal with the threat over in Kentucky and Tennessee. It looks like he might be making a move on my flank over here in Arkansas. So I moved Van Dorn down to deal with this guy. He still didn't get out of there, so I'm attacking him again. And then I'm sending more troops over just for the time being. Again, I don't really care about this spot so much. I really only care about it insofar as it delays him from making any move on Little Rock. So I'm going to hold this as long as I can, but strategically it doesn't really matter to me. And then the far west, we've lost it. So we're going to pull back. I'm going to burn these forts and then get behind this river over here. I don't know if is it the Rio Grande? No, this is the Pecos River. We're going to get behind here, and that's going to be our new defensive line. But let's go through the battles real quick here. So this is where the battle that we lost over there that you just saw. He's got 8,200 troops, so that's why I'm like, screw it. I'm not going to try anymore. We had only 1 hour of battle. I think our troops saw the 2-to-1 odds and said, screw it, let's get out of there. He's also got actual infantry, whereas I just have mounted volunteers, which are effectively militia on horses. So that was the battle right here, where he's sieging El Paso at the moment. This was Fort Bliss. We just had a couple of militia, nothing major there. This was over, so the Battle of Columbus, even though we won it, I think what happened was we beat these guys, but then that division came in, which I don't know if we actually engaged with him or not, but I could see us engaging with him next turn. That's why we're pulling out of there. Okay, Morgan, we lost. He had a lot more troops than us. That was right in here, holding this rail line. So we're going to pull out of there as well. And then this one sucked. I did not expect him to have really any troops here, which he did. And all we had was some bushwhackers and some artillery. And that was right here. So he ended up pushing us off pretty quickly. So we lost that one. I do have this guy here, so he's tearing up the rail line and he's going to move around. Down here I had red, mainly because I wanted to push this guy out of there. So we'll see if he comes back. And then finally, here's our raiding ships. We got 9 money and 5 war supply this turn from the blockade. Oh yeah, by the way, so our fleet was here and we pulled it out of there and put it back down here. So I'm moving these guys over, by the way. to try and cut off any advance he can do across the river, and then perhaps cut off any supply if he does cross over this way. And if you have 4 ship chits there, that gives you like a 90 or 94% chance of engaging somebody if they try and cross. That's why I divided up this way. And then as you can see here, he put a supply depot. So he's got one there. I think he built one here. He's got one up there. So you can see what he's doing. He's trying to get a supply through here before he pushes across the river into Nashville. Which, just to give you disposition, we got 3 divisions back here. 422 or 442, 1 defense and a 2 defense. We've got 5 defense with Shelby, 5 defense with Gardner, and then 3 defense with Magruder, and finally 3 defense with Anderson, 3 defense with Breckenridge, and 1 defense with Braxton Bragg. All right, and I think it's about it for going over this particular turn. Okay, let's simulate the turn and we'll be back. Early June 63, I was able to get my core back. He didn't attack me. And I don't know what he did with this core that was over here in the Shenandoah. But what I'm going to do is I'm moving a balloon over here, and all you need to know for this particular turn with regards to all this movement is that I'm going to put a division here in the mountains. I'm going to shift all my core over here behind the Rappahannock, and then what I'm going to do next turn in late June is make a move on DC. I'm going to put myself between him and DC and force him, hopefully, to attack me. Now, where that'll attack will occur, I don't know. But I think with him fully committed in Kentucky and Tennessee, this is going to be probably my best opportunity in the game to have effectively even odds against his numbers, because he's going to have even more troops next year, and he can always peel troops off of Kentucky. So we'll see what will happen. But what I'm doing is I'm moving everything in place this turn. I'm moving all my supply wagons that I can forward, peeling troops off of these guys, pretty much getting them bare bones. I'm going to put everything up here. Next turn, what I'll do is I'll show you how everything looks on the map before I go ahead and simulate the turn. But for now, all you need to know is next turn, I'm going to shift everything between me and him DC, assuming nothing major changes over here, which I don't think there will. But and then I'm moving Jeb Stuart up towards Leesburg for 2 reasons. One, I want military control here because I want to cut him off from supplies. So I have 100% military control here. I'm going to move him up, get military control here. Also, it's going to give me a better idea of what he has in Alexandria, as well as up here in Harper's Ferry, and then if he has anything across the river. And then finally, it'll be a nice position to be on my flank, because what I want to do is move my troops up into Alexandria, and then south of Alexandria here in Stafford, and then hold down Culpeper, which will be my far left. Not a whole lot happened this turn. I'm still kind of moving around over here. As you can see, I wasn't able to get him out of there that turn. He only left 103 powered force here, but I want to keep Wade's stack in force, and so I'm trying to avoid any sort of major conflicts in this area. The goal up here is to tear up rail lines and destroy depots, not so much engage the enemy and take cities. So I'm still moving everything around over here. It's still not altogether clear what I'm doing yet because I got a lot of stuff moving. So once I can kind of better demonstrate that, I will. However, I am able to play several plunder cards this turn, and those plunder cards are going to get me $35,000 cash per square that I use them on, and I think I was able to use them on 2 or 3. Yeah, it cost me a lot of victory points, but I need the money. And from my standpoint, I don't know what Josh's standpoint is, but from my standpoint, I will consider it a victory in this game if I'm able to keep him from conquering me, because I think realistically that was the goal of the Confederacy, was to just survive. So I've got a couple of these cards playing. I'm not sure how many, but that'll add money here. And then hopefully late June, if not early July, I should be able to print war bonds again, which will get us like, I think like 500,000 or 600,000, which we need. We need money right now, because if you look at the builds, got militia. That's so that Anderson can train them up to line infantry. But just really don't have a whole lot of money to spend on anything. I don't think I even spent on artillery. Yeah, I'm hurting on cash. So over here, again, not a whole lot happened. Now, he did move lions down on my flank. So it looks like he's trying to do is maybe outflank me. So instead of attacking Nashville, get him in himself in a position to where he just kind of goes around me and forces me either to attack him or pull back. I don't know. So I'm moving my cavalry down here, debating shifting him over. The problem with that is he's not going to be able to support him, though. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this evolves. I'm not ready to attack him, though, because unlike when he had Meade over here, this is an actual corps supported by Buell. So I'm gonna kind of hold pat, shift over what I can. I don't have a whole lot to shift over there, and just kind of watch how the situation evolves. He is a 2-star, so I still can't attack him with Johnson's corps. Although I could take him by river and hit over here, which I may do. So I don't know. Stand by to stand by. I am shifting him over to Virginia to assist with that assault. I'm moving a lot of stuff around, so next turn it'll be a little more clear and I can kind of show you. But I'm moving roads as well to kind of help that division out in Virginia, and then bringing him more guys up to train up in Memphis. And then over here near Little Rock, looks like he's making a move on Arkansas with Rosecrans. So I'm going to put what I can here to try and thwart a river crossing. Now, I do have hills as defense, and I got almost a full division. My preference would be to have 2 divisions, though, but I just don't have those kind of troops. I do have one of my river fleets in place. The other one's going to be here. So we'll see what happens. Not quite sure what's going to happen. I'm a bit out of position over here because I don't have the troops to match up against him over here. So it's actually a pretty smart move on his part. And then I am putting a partisan here to deal with the supply issue for him. And then over here in the far west, you can see he's kind of making a play on these forts. So I'm trying to get back as quick as I can to burn these forts, put some space between him and I, and then get behind this river to set up a new defensive front. Although it's going to be hard because it's just this big front. So I'm going to have to burn that fort too. But we shall see. And then building more rail pool. And I decided to print money because we're just hurting for cash and our inflation's whatever. I need the money. So because I think we're about to lose a lot of troops because we're going to have the DC battles going on. There's probably going to be a battle over here in Nashville. It's going to be a pretty bloody summer, I think. What is a stainless banner? I'm not familiar with that. Oh, the second national flag. That's right. The stainless banner was officially adopted by the Confederate Congress on May 26, 1963. It had become important to replace the first flag, the Stars and Bars, because of its similarity to the Stars and Stripes of the Union. And this was actually a flag created by Beauregard and Johnston, I believe, following the Battle of Bull Run. And it wasn't until 1963 that the Confederacy finally caught up and said, yeah, that should be our national flag. We got Henry Heath. He's pretty garbage, if I recall. He's like a 411 or something. Where you at? Yeah, 4-2-1, so whatever. Okay, so let's simulate the turn because not a whole lot happened here. And then it looks like in the next couple turns, it could be some serious battles. And we'll go from there.